on YouTube, maybe. Showing up security, the main gate and leading into Dunwall Tower has been another pet project of late. I think that back in the day, the Emperor Caldwin left it open to the public during the day, allowing anybody to come and go as pleased. If it were up to me, I'd seal off the access to the streets entirely, but the Empress won't hear of it. The waterlock is much easier to protect, and if it were the only way into the tower, traffic in and out would be greatly reduced. Someday, the wrong person is going to slip in, and we will suffer from it. Mark my words, no matter if security is excessive when it comes to protecting heads of state. The Empress also disapproves my plans for Solokov devices. Solokov himself. I say that wrong. It's not Solokov, it's Sokolov. He has no interest in security, of course. He's vain and therefore keen to see his inventions deployed in any fashion. This wall of light has been tinkering with it, as promised. In any case, at least I will be able to convince the Empress to upgrade pistols that carried by the officers of the watch. Why do I worry so if nobody else cares? If I ever fall asleep, will it all sink into the ocean? Will the rough things clamber over walls and fill themselves with fish? This is what I see in the same dream several times each month. If only I had more say in things, the more authority I could protect us all. Perhaps I have been working too hard. Dinner and evening of conversation with a certain lady of refinement might be in order. Or perhaps someone nice in the estate district. Hiram Burrows, Royal Spy Master. Whew. Good books are Hajduk Stanko, Islamic Republic of Germany, Art of War. I think I've read Art of War before. But do I read books? Not enough. Not enough. I don't know why I've got so many bone charms. This is not a DLC thing or something, is it? How do you equip bone charms? I can equip 7? It said 3. Islamic Republic of Germany is a book about over-immigration of Middle Eastern immigrants. Huh. White rats don't attack you. Yeah, I don't know why I've got so many. It literally just, they were just all over my house. I'm wondering if I bought this with DLC or something, and it's given me a bunch of stuff. I have not played Outlast, but I do own Outlast, and I will definitely be playing it eventually. I own both of them. Moderate keyhole, peeping magnification. We'll do that. Breaking glass sound is moderately reduced. Breath capacity in water is increased. Damage from explosions reduced. Win sword vs sword contest more frequently. Shot whiskey bottles explode with greater intensity. White rats can be consumed for mana. Okay, we're 7 out of 7. Yeah. Whew. Okay. And I've still got a heart to use, yeah. A rune, sorry. Right, we got more books to read. There was 2 books, yep. Early Life and Criminal Record Slackjaw. My god. My god. Everybody is born to die. Honor and cowardice live forever. Kind of grim. Look at this. Oh. We did. I've started this. Let's go. Excerpt from a series of letters sent by a member of the Bottle Street Gang. For law, Mike. For law. understand the early life and criminal record for Slackjaw. If we do it now, I don't have to do it later, right? You want the chain wag on Slackjaw? What he was like when he was young before he got his name? Oh, he's a cool head now, but it weren't always like that in the days. He was the boss of Spot Street Gang, but time was young Slackjaw wasn't a reasonable man. Like most of us, he grew up on the streets, running a pack of ragamuffins and avoiding the law, pinching whatever he needed. Dark-haired, grey, and dark-eyed, smoking a pipe, age of 10. For them born into brothels or coming from the orphanages, it was either gangs or working with the mudlarks, and no one wants that. Some got pressed into the Navy or put down in the mines by the Pendleton or Boyle families. It is hard on the streets, and hungry as we all got, at least we were free. By the time we were little young'uns, we weren't little young'uns anymore. Slackjaw was one to watch. He usually calling the shots when he took down a farmer's cart sidewalk street vendor. He'd come up with a plan, give everyone part to play, and decide on the split. Most of them just went along because we learned fast that we were better like that. More food, coin, plus none of us wanted to deal with Slackjaw when he was in a rage. He worked on a couple of big jobs, Black Sally across town. That was enough to get the attention of the bosses. He weren't just a kid anymore. Now he's an up-and-comer, which meant trouble. Another guy fancied himself as such. Another guy fancied himself, who fancied himself as such, was Mike the Fish, who was working his way up running the protection racket among the faction men. One fine evening, we were taking in a bawdy show at the theater house. A bawdy show? Mike the Fish and his lot were there in the cheap sheets too, just down the aisle from us. Mike gets a wild idea. He wasn't big on planning. He throws a heavy ceramic spittoon at Slackjaw, hits him square in the face, and breaks his jaw. It was called Slackjaw before, and he broke his jaw. We will look to see if there's going to be any blood brawl. But Slackjaw just points at the door, and we all leave, Mike laughing at our backs. Waking up the next day, without telling us why, Slackjaw motions for us all to follow. He still can't say a word, but so we just come along. We stop at the docks, and Slackjaw actually pays coin for it, a heavy chain covered in hooks. It's for fishing in the deep, something you detach off to a long line off the side of a ship. It's about 4 feet, made of thick links, and there are shark hooks coming off at different angles. Slackjaw's got that thing wrapped around his left arm, dangling at his side. Not sure why. He knew where Mike the Fish was staying, but when we reach the girl's house, Slackjaw throws a bottle through the window just like that. It's almost noon. There's a bunch of screaming inside, and Mike Peel pokes his head out, looking wide-eyed and baffled. Where he sees Slackjaw out in the street, a look comes over his face like that. Face that gives either Willie's pure murder. Oh. Social media taking a large presence in many people's lives. It's good to read content in this form every now and again. People used to get too quickly scanning text for important and reading single lines instead of paragraphs. As a result, they adopt and become harder in actual books. True. To be fair, I don't usually read this much. Yeah. I have had games where there have been actual books, like, written in the game, and I think that's probably a bit too much. This length is kind of good, though. It does improve brain activity, yeah, absolutely. Mike comes out of the side door, bellowing like a blood ox, holding a cleaver, heading straight for Slackjaw. When they come together in the street, Slackjaw spins, and the shark hooks bite deep into Mike's arm and shoulder. He screams. Slackjaw holds onto the chain. He's standing there with his jaw broken, clenched tight, with the chain wrapped around his left arm. Hooks sunk into Mike the Fish, just knifing him as fast as he can. Mike couldn't fight very well, hooked like that. And using his left hand, he was a big guy, but he was a big guy and took a lot of stabbing before he went to his knees. Everyone was cheering at first, but then we all went quiet, and it just kept going and going, until finally it was just Mike the Fish blubbering, crying like a baby, the sound of Slackjaw's knife. When it was over, here's the brilliant part. Slackjaw took out a note and stuck to Mike's face with a nail. And it just said, if you want a job, come to Bottle Street. Slackjaw didn't talk right for a couple of months, but word spread fast. By the end of the year, once we had a sizable gang going, he sent letters to the other bosses telling him he was running a brand new crew over on Bottle Street. Most of them laughed or beat up the guys who delivered the letters. Green-eyed Trish came back missing a thumb. Apparently, Slackjaw was expecting that kind of reaction and had a backup plan. For green-eyed Trish. Whew. Will I play Total War Rome 2 or any Total War? I don't think so. I have trouble streaming games that are strategy. Not that I haven't before, but they are a little bit, sometimes a bit too open, sandboxy type of thing. That being said, I did enjoy the Total War games back in the day. I think I played Rome 1 maybe back in the day, and it was fun. But like I say, it's been a while. A week later, 4 of the bosses were dead. Seemed like a series of unfortunate events. Everyone knew better. One shot dead by a watch, by the watch staying in the middle of meat market. Another slipping and falling into water out cold. One of the other bosses found in the bed with his belly open wide and Tyvian pear stuff in his mouth. Why? Still not sure what that meant. And Sheila Barnsworth was found bubbling in a cauldron of hot wax. Ugh. Slackjaw sent out another set of letters. Offers to the underboss, telling them they'd be treated as fair as peers. He even said Green-Eyed Trish with one of the letters. All of the bosses accepted. After spilling the guts of his main competition, Slackjaw went in for stabilizing his business. Real neat, like calling in favors, smoothing things over, giving everyone a bit of coin or drink as bonus, showing what it could be like as a boss. Everyone got quiet. We always make the boys of the City Watch nervous, of course. Word went out that Royal Spymaster snitches. Among the Royal Spymaster snitches, the responsible citizens group they call themselves, telling everyone in the shop or swearing off the front steps to keep their homes watchful eye for Slackjaw and his men, trying to suss out where they were what they were up to and what just happened. Whew. It looks broken to me, Mike. Well done, stream elements. But Slackjaw isn't stupid. He greased a few palms among the shopkeepers and watched too, telling them that he was in town to stay and things would be run properly from now on, without so much blood. He was finally a real boss, ready to settle into the business of moving whiskey, running out of the hound fights, offering up the ladies and gentlemen of the night, if you take my meaning. Then the plague came. We're almost there. We're almost there. Three years? Well, I don't know why Lumia's doing that. Since 4 years ago. Who made that bot? First seemed like a good thing. Few people got sick and everyone wanted to buy those potions from Sokolov or Piero. Health elixir or spiritual remedy, they call them. Slackjaw told me saw an opportunity. We already had an old whiskey factory with a still where we could water down the stuff and sell it discounted. Doing the same with Sokolov's elixir was a smart plan. Pretty soon everybody in the slums was sick and business was good. But after a while there'd be so much people with the plague, everybody got scared, everybody started acting real nasty and everything fell apart. People can't work, they can't have coin for elixir, watered down or pure. When the Empress died, it seemed like Dunwall would slide into the void. Spymaster Burroughs took over the watch and started using all that new Sokolov technology. Watchtowers, tall boys, and then arc pylons. They put up the wall of light covering Clavering Boulevard and cracked down hard. But Slackjaw surprised us again. Instead of leaving town on a boat bound for Morley and one of the other isles, he stayed and kept it all together. We gave as much elixir to fight off the plague as the city watched with their taxes and rations. It's kept us alive so far. Interesting. I wonder if we're going to see Slackjaw later on in the game. We shall see. We shall see. Oh, okay. Get another drink. Journal of Granny Rags. What was that granny called in Atomic Heart? Xena. Xena. Okay. Excerpt from Ramblings of a Street Denizen. Of course, I'll tell you, my dearie. I won't keep any secrets from you in the end. All the dreary days of my life are like the windows of a house. From kitchen, I can see out in the garden where the leaves stalks are bugging, a brown bugging. You can see a little lump of dirt where something was wrapped in a blanket, real rows of twisting vines. The front room looks out into the street where neighbors are all setting fire to their homes, barricading themselves inside, warm and snug, dearie. Don't forget the bedroom either. It seems it sees into a dreary alley where hooligans are playing a game with an old man. First two are hitting them with sticks, and the girl is with them, is kicking at his dry old ribs. Oh, to have these bones to boil in the pot. That's cannibalism. No one lives in my house anymore, dearie. No one you want to meet. When I lived there with my husband, we were fine people. Vera Moray, everyone would say. Your house is as grand as Boyle Manor. Even better. Your dinners are lavish and your parties are best. With that, young Sokolov came to paint my portrait. Was Sokolov the guy we saw at the beginning then? Yeah, the bot's broken. I think it's AWS has restarted the server, so I need to start it up again. Yeah. What's the name of Penguin's aunt? Antarctica. He was that guy. Yeah. I didn't get that. See, the problem is, God, it doesn't introduce the characters. You don't see the name, so it's like I'll talk to a guy, and if he's like a main character, you don't see his name before the subtitle. Slot stream? Slot stream? I don't even know what that is. Okay, yeah, no, I don't gamble. With that, young Sokolov came to us. Paint my portrait was still in my prime. Radiant, he said. He was barely a man, so young, painting all the best people across the land. Everyone wanted a portrait by his hands, all my friends. I was the only one, dearie, wet with his paint glistening on the canvas for a pretty coin. But it wasn't all parties and paintings. My husband and I weren't always at home. No, we traveled together, he and I, for the far ends of the Isles, beyond even, all the way to the red cliffs of Pandysia, to dig in the rock and crawl through the caves, holding up candles and squinting at walls. Many precious things we came upon, but none so precious as the boy with the black eyes, dearie. The mud marks and bones are carved, so it's the outsider, maybe. All those marks and bones carved into the deep, polished so bright. I brought the old bones home, hid them from my dear husband, and I learned to boil them and carve them myself. They made such good presents, dearie. The little mute boy took them home. He loved them so. All the time he came back with new bones for me, holding them up so I could see them in his eyes, even though his tongue was still. Granny, his eyes would say to me, carve these bones for me, make me another present, and he went so far, all the way to Dunwall Tower, the royal headsman himself now. My little mute boy and shiny, shiny sword. Better bones than what you needed, you see. Better bones to carve and polish, scrape and clean. My dear old husband was always tired. I made him soup I made him soup, and then he was sick. Better bones was all. For my moot boy, carved in the name of the one with the black eyes. After my husband was gone and given away for his birthday gifts, I didn't want them to live there anymore. So now I'm old. I don't have many gifts to. I don't have many to give my presents to. Sifting through the garbage of granny rags, feeding the little birdies that gather at my feet. No one wants to have tea, dearie, especially those rude lot on Bottle Street. Slight Jaw and his boys, always meddling with the old woman, just trying to get in the way. In the end, we will be together with him, you and me in the dreary night, with stars above and below, and always the one with the black eyes. Did the outsider have black eyes? That's Lumia. Are we out of time? Yeah, we're almost out of time. I think I spent like maybe 20 minutes reading books. I think its problem is that it doesn't have admin rights or mod rights to the stream, so it's trying its best, but it can't see behind the scenes. Yeah. Okay, we'll save here, and we'll call it a day. Yeah, I don't think I should have them. I'm with you. Oh look, maybe we